Hi everyone! Welcome back to my channel. Tonight we are going to be doing another, what is this called? Regency Love. Let's get started. I have been really enjoying having this game again, or playing this game again. I think we're nearly finished with the Mr. Curtis storyline. So let's get started. Dear Miss Rivers, if you are not otherwise engaged on the afternoon of Tuesday next, may you grace me with your presence once again on a walk to the woods we frequented last. Yours, etc., Demetrius J. Curtis. Miss Rivers, you are looking very well today. I believe this lovely day is to be credited for my complexion. Yes, I suppose I should write a letter to thank the sun for his most opportune appearance. Miss Rivers, forgive me if I am being a little forward, but I recall your mentions of your father a few weeks past. The general impression you have given me has remained with me, as I have always thought ill of my own. If you are not averse to it, could you perhaps tell me a little about your relationship with him? Certainly. My father was a good, honest man who loved us dearly and who taught me almost everything I know. Even now he remains with me surely and constantly. Thank you for indulging my curiosity. I dare say I am almost envious of your relationship with your father. It is good to see that you are also quite close with your mother. Yes, we have always been very close family. She has her faults as I have mine, but I love my mama dearly. I admit I'm rather glad Mr. Worthington decided to return to Castridge Court. He and Mrs. Worthington care deeply for you and your mother. I quite share your sentiments, for without dear Mr. Worthington, I doubt I would have made your acquaintance, Mr. Curtis. I believe we spoke briefly about Lambton Hall as well a few weeks ago. I was wondering if you may perhaps be interested in accompanying me on a visit. Yes, I would love to. I am quite honored by the invitation, Mr. Curtis. I will send a carriage for you this Friday, then. And would it surprise you to discover that I have already visited Lambton Hall with my friend Miss Mary Earlwood? I could assume a surprised expression if you so wish, but alas, I must disappoint you and confess that Mr. Simmons had informed me of your visit. Although he is usually a sensible man, Mr. Simmons was a little too enthusiastic about your visit. About your friend? He was even more so. Ow, ow. But I am very much looking forward to showing you around Lambton Hall myself. I would very much like to hear your thoughts and see how they compare with those who oppose the venture. Come, let us walk on. Okay. Can we do that now? Yes, let's go. Welcome to Lambton Hall, Miss Rivers. I trust your journey went well. Yes, indeed. It was very kind of you to arrange a carriage to bring me here. It's the least I can do. Come, I shall give you a tour of the school. You enter Lambton Hall with Mr. Curtis, who appears to be quite at home within the walls. The staff greet you politely and with genuine smiles. A class appears to be in progress, but before you and Mr. Curtis can escape notice, Mr. Simmons catches your eye and pauses during his lesson. Mr. Curtis, what an unexpected surprise. Ah, Mr. Simmons, it appears you are in the middle of a lesson. We do not wish to interrupt. We were just approaching our afternoon break. Miss Rivers, it is a pleasure to see you again. Children, shall we say hello to our special visitor? Mr. Curtis, we have missed you. Where have you been? Will you be reading to us again? We've all been good with our homework, so please say you'll read the next part of Beowulf. Goodness, you are all so full of energy, which I hope you're using for your studies. Tabitha, if you remember our chat last time, you'll be able to deduce where I have been. At your family estate in Yorkshire? And you have not visited because Yorkshire is so very far away, and it tires the horses to have to go such a long way without many breaks. Very good, Tabitha. And Peter, apart from its engaging story, can you tell us why we were reading Beowulf? Because it is a very important poem written in Old English, which we are soon to learn along with Latin and Greek. Excellent. I'm pleased that Mr. Simmons is teaching you well. You notice that Colin is once again silent, while his peers are happily chatting away. Mr. Colin, have you made any more progress on Gulliver's Travels? You have taken on quite a formidable task. Well, it just started pouring rain. Yes, miss, I have finished it. Now, children, you mustn't be late for tea. I am sure Mr. Curtis will visit again shortly. The children bid you both farewell, and Mr. Simmons escorts them both to the refectory. You follow Mr. Curtis as he leads you down the remaining hallways. All the classrooms, drawing rooms, and living quarters are tidy and reserved, but comfortable. There is also an abundance of candles and oil lamps around, which will serve as good light in the evenings. And that is Lambton Hall, a modest establishment, but it serves its purpose well enough. A very lovely place indeed, though I confess I would still like to see you in front of the classroom. I can certainly imagine you commanding the attention of every boy and girl in the room. I suppose you will have to keep imagining such, Miss Rivers. If I might hear more of your opinion, Miss Rivers, I would like to know if you have any thoughts on the particulars of what should be taught here. Simmons and I have been discussing this at length, and I would appreciate your input on this matter. Instilling these children with practical knowledge about the world will be most beneficial. I do not believe they will be privileged enough to remain confined to their studies for the rest of their lives. You make a very valid point, Miss Rivers. Thank you. I'm very grateful you've been able to visit Lambton Hall today, Miss Rivers. Come, let us return you to Darlington. What is this? Okay. Doing pretty good. Worthington Ball. Miss Rivers, it is a pleasure to see you here tonight. Your attire seems to have caught the light most becomingly. Oh, thank you. I'm certain it will be quite a lovely evening. I have missed seeing you here at Mr. Worthington's balls. Alas, Mr. Worthington must have added something untoward in my port this evening, for I am rather inclined to enjoy the music in a more engaging manner. Would you perchance have a dance to spare on your card? Ooh. Yes, of course. I dare say I'm quite honored by the invitation, Mr. Curtis. If you must think something of it, then blame should be placed on the dubious contents of my port. Shall we? You engage in a line dance with Mr. Curtis. The music is merry and your steps are light. I happened to be taking a stroll 2 days past, and encountered a lovely meadow with some wildflowers in bloom. It occurred to me that you might have enjoyed them. Ah, so your thoughts happen to wander to my preferences of flowers now, do they? Not entirely. Your aptitude for subtlety also comes to mind quite frequently. I suppose I should also confess that the flowers reminded me of Wordsworth's poem, I wandered lonely as a cloud, which then naturally brought to mind the numerous conversations about literature and nature. Yes, and a lovely poem that is. You certainly have some lines for every occasion, Mr. Curtis. I believe I have not yet encountered every occasion known to man, Miss Rivers. Ah, yes, I do believe the excess substance hidden in my port has caused me to lose my faculties this evening, for I'm finding this dance not as tedious as I would have imagined. Do not continue to place blame on the poor port, Mr. Curtis, for I believe some credit is due to your dancing partner. You are quite right, she has many faults indeed. The dance ends, and Mr. Curtis appears to be in much higher spirits. I believe I took far greater pleasure in that than is proper. There is hope for you yet, Mr. Curtis. It was quite lovely dancing with you. And you. I believe I shall now spend the rest of the evening in bleak silence to compensate for such a display of joviality. He's great. The Worthingtons come over for din-dins. After you have all retired to the drawing room, Mr. Worthington finds an occasion to speak to you. I still have allergies, sorry. My dear Miss Rivers, you are looking very well indeed. I dare say I see a certain glow in your cheeks that is quite becoming. Thank you, Mr. Worthington. There is simply so much joy to be taken from our surroundings, and for which to be grateful. Quite right, my dear. It is heartening to see you smile thus. Come to think of it, our friend Mr. Curtis has made quite a speedy recovery since he returned to us. In fact, I believe his company has improved, and he has become quite agreeable. Perhaps even the dour Mr. Curtis is capable of finding contentment. Is that such a surprise? Not at all. But Mr. Curtis has always been such a grim fellow. It really is quite a remarkable change. Do you remember when we last spoke about Lambton Hall? There had been quite the talk about a generous proprietor who has purchased the property and turned it into a school for the less fortunate. I spoke to Mr. Curtis about it this morning, and it turns out he is the mysterious benefactor behind the endeavor. It seems not all the talk has been positive, and there are several parties within our larger circle who frown upon his undertaking. Mr. Curtis is not at all dispirited by their opinions. In fact, it has been quite the contrary. He simply smiled and brushed off the criticism I conveyed. Sometimes I don't quite know what to make of him. It matters not what the others think. Mr. Curtis has done a fine thing, and we should all be grateful of the way in which he advocates for the importance of education. Yes, of course. It should not have surprised me that you already know of this. Well, my dear, let us turn our attention to other matters, then. Oh, I know what this word is. A large income. Alright, everything's at 60 except for horseback riding. A letter from Mr. Curtis. Dear Miss Rivers, I hope this letter finds you well. This afternoon I ventured to the hilly woods again and passed by the meadow of which I told you the last time we occasioned to speak. While watching the leaves make their steady fall to the ground, I thought of a few words which I penned upon returning from my walk. Here they are, though rough and unrefined as they are. Children of children of change, time has gathered thy throngs, to pluck thee from the breasts of thy mothers. So slow to grow, so swift to fall, upon the day-old pillows of predecessors. A lifetime ago, when thou wast still young and tender, and brimming with promise. A lifetime for thee, when songs were still sung, by blackbirds which now search south for solace. That lifetime ago, the sun sent his lips to touch thy sweet forehead in a soft kiss, and cradled thine cheeks until the eclipse of age-old seasons transformed thee to this. Dance on, dear children, though thou art so few, dance for the day when thy life is renewed. Yours, etc., Demetrius J. Curtis. That's all I got. Laudanum was addictive. I would do needlework. Scones and jam. Anything here? No. Did all that. Letter. Mr. Curtis. Dear Miss Rivers, I hope this letter finds you well. I took a stroll outside this morning and it came to my attention that my garden at Penridge requires some tending. If you and your mother are not otherwise engaged, I would be delighted if you would offer your horticultural opinion. I understand that asking you and your mother to travel to Yorkshire simply to join me in this exercise is an unreasonable request, even for myself. So I suppose I shall have to accommodate you at Penridge for a few days. Yours, etc., Demetrius J. Curtis. What a guy. Alright, hold on. I got allergies. Excuse me. Okay. You and Mama decide to visit Penridge. There are few landmarks Mama wishes to visit in Yorkshire, and is rather fond of Mr. Curtis's family estate, if not the man himself. You both travel in the carriage Mr. Curtis has kindly prepared for you, and prepare yourselves from the long journey ahead. Miss Rivers, I hope you are ready for our task at hand. The weather today is also quite obliging for the purpose of our time in the garden. It is indeed. I am very much looking forward to this exercise of tending to your lovely garden. I am happy to hear it. As you can see, the garden has become quite a mess since your last visit. It has come to my attention that these weeds need to be removed, but I prefer to do the bulk of the work myself. I suppose this is an opportunity to make any changes to the current state of my garden, and I wish to know if you might offer any suggestions on its improvement. I happen to be quite fond of daffodils, and I think the addition of some, perhaps in the flower beds by the far side, will add some extra liveliness to your garden. Daffodils? Why, yes, that would be a nice touch. Is there anything else you would suggest? Oh, and I believe you could do with more roses of all colors. They are so lovely and have the most pleasant scent when in bloom. Yes, delightful. Are you certain you don't have any ideas for improvement at all? I just gave you 2 ideas. This is a rather bold suggestion, and will require a few years before it comes to fruition, but perhaps your garden could benefit from an oak tree? It would be a rather grand addition. Why, yes, I can envision that. You are quite right, Miss Rivers. Let us begin with the weeding, then, shall we? The pair of you set to work. By the late afternoon, you have finished your task, and are left sore but satisfied. Mr. Curtis's cravat has loosened a little, and his dark eyes seem to be lit from within. Well, that was quite fruitful. I hope you are not too exhausted, Miss Rivers, but I did not expect our exercise to take the better part of the day. It was lovely to spend a few hours under the sun and in your company. I don't believe I could have accomplished so much without your assistance. Truly, I am grateful, Miss Rivers. You are very welcome. It was the least I could do to show my gratitude for the lovely sonnet I recently received from a certain gentleman. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Okay. I did not know you write so beautifully, Mr. Curtis. Dance on, dear children, though thou art so few. Dance for the day when thy life is renewed. What a lovely couplet. Oh, Miss Rivers, I'm quite surprised and rather humbled that you have memorized my words. Running out of water. Alas, time has once again slipped away while in your company. Let us head inside and join your mother for tea. Okay, let's do that. Mr. Curtis, thank you once again for your generosity and hospitality. I dare say you are quite a spectacular host. I appreciate your praise, ma'am, but it is unnecessary. I am simply glad that you are finding Penridge to your liking. Yes, of course. Your family estate is so large and grand that one wonders if it can ever be filled. If I'm not mistaken, you are not the only resident? I am at present. My parents have long passed away, and I have no siblings or other family. Oh my, then it must be dreadfully dull and lonely for you at times. I have my books for company. They are not at all dull. Yes, of course. Reading is indeed a favorable pastime. I suspect Penridge was once full of children and laughter, but those days are gone. Perhaps it is just as well, for I am quite fond of Darlington in Hertfordshire. Ah, but I don't think there's any place better in the world. But, Mr. Curtis, I was wondering if you could tell me a little more about your little project at Lambton Hall. Is it an orphanage of sorts? Lambton Hall is a school, and it is turning out to be quite the unprecedented endeavor. We take in students who wish to learn and provide them board and tuition. And this is at the expense of yourself, am I correct? Precisely. Too many children do not have access to proper education, and if farmers and laborers cannot afford giving one to their sons and daughters, then why shouldn't I? But what would happen to the crops if a farmer is deprived of the help from an extra pair of hands? Who will be left to work the land if these children grow up to be scholars? Ma'am, you seem to assume that I wish to imprison these children in the classroom. I can assure you that is not the case. The children are given plenty of time to spend with their families learning their trade. Perhaps when they come of age, they will wish to continue working in their parents' footsteps, simply with the added advantage of being able to read, write, and take better care of accounts. But I see that we may not agree on the subject, so perhaps we should speak of other things. Of course, Mr. Curtis. After Mr. Curtis has bid you and your mother good night, he speaks to you in a quiet voice as Mamma makes her way to her lodgings. Your mother seems quite determined to find fault in me. That is my mamma. I do think she means the best, and is not always striving to be so critical. Well, I suppose one could see it that way. I shall think on that. Good night, Miss Rivers. Oh, and we're suddenly back home. After another long journey, you have finally returned home. Mr. Curtis could have been far angrier at Mamma's words, but he had behaved most admirably. Perhaps they might be able to get along after all. Okay. Didn't really get much from that. Ladies learned French, Italian, German. Oh goodness, who did it? Who died? Mozart? Correct, okay. Afternoon tea. Scones and jam. A letter from Mr. Curtis. Dear Miss Rivers, thank you for making the long journey to Yorkshire simply to assist me with my garden. I hope you and your mother had a pleasant day and enjoyed spending time in the countryside. I have not forgotten that Mrs. Rivers and I hold differing opinions on the school I'm trying to build, and though I understand her perspective, I feel she has not been given a chance to see mine. As such, I wish to invite you and your mother to stop by Lambton Hall. You will have full disposal of my carriage should you wish to accept. I will be on one of my regular visits to observe the children's progress, and I would be much obliged if you indulge me in being my accomplice. Yours, etc., Demetrius J. Curtis. Okay, any points? Nope. Got it. Needlework. Okay. Me all the points. Mr. Curtis, thank you again for your kindness. You are most generous with lending your carriage. It is only a little token to thank you for the generosity of your time, Mrs. Rivers. Lambton Hall looks quite different now from a few years ago when the Hudsons occupied it. I dare say I prefer it in its present state. I am pleased to hear it. I hope you will find the interiors just as preferable. You and Mamma follow Mr. Curtis inside Lambton Hall and through the hallways that are now becoming familiar. You stop at Mr. Simmons' classroom, where the children light up at your arrival. Mr. Curtis, Miss Rivers, you are early. We weren't expecting you till 2. Miss Tabitha, it is imperative for a self-respecting individual, regardless of family and fortune, to never be tardy. But why, Mr. Curtis? Papa tries not to be tardy, but sometimes he says that time runs away from him. What can you do if time is running away from you? Then, Mr. Peter, you must run faster. If you are tardy, then all the people whom you are to meet will be waiting for you. How would you feel if you were forced to waste your own time on another's account? I wouldn't like it very much, sir. I would rather spend that time playing games or practicing my letters. I will tell Papa that he is being discourteous. I don't like the thought of that at all. Now, don't be hasty, Mr. Peter. One should seek to correct their own behavior first and foremost, and be fully content with oneself. There is no use in preaching to others about their ill behavior. If one is respectful, courteous, and conscientious, then naturally others will see merit and follow suit. Mr. Curtis, how is it that you know so much? I would disagree with you there, Miss Tabitha. I know very little indeed. I have not read all the books in the world, nor mastered all of its languages. Even then, my knowledge would be fair, but not extraordinary. There is no end to knowledge, or to to learning. That is why you must come to your lessons, pay careful attention to Mr. Simmons, and, in your own time, consider and practice his teachings. Colin seems to be quite pensive. Mr. Colin, I believe you have a thought you wish to share with the class. Please go on. Hesitantly. I was wondering, Mr. Curtis, sir, why you speak to us in the same way you speak to Mr. Simmons and Miss Rivers. Most other people speak differently to us. Mr. Colin, you have raised a good point indeed. If I spoke to you in a childish manner, how would you react? Childishly, I suppose. And childishness is the very last thing I wish to teach my pupils. Oops, Okay. But that is enough for today. As you can see, I have some very special guests with me today, and it will not do to neglect them. The children say their goodbyes. Mr. Curtis leads you and Mama away. Mama seems impatient to speak, and does so at the first opportunity. Why, Mr. Curtis, that was rather peculiar. Are all your visits like this? Most often they are. Sometimes I read passages to them or elaborate on their current lessons. The class we have just visited consists of the most advanced children, and they are learning quickly. And all those children live here on the premises? For the moment they do. I believe the school environment encourages them to continue thinking after they have left the classroom. I am not entirely sure what to make of it all. Do you still have your reservations? Indeed I do, but you appear to know what you are doing, so I suppose that will have to do. Amelia, I believe that it's time to leave. This woman, she's hard to please. So I have my laptop, kind of precariously placed on my big pregnant belly, so I'm getting kicked and all sorts of stuff, so I'm trying to, move around. Water. Miss Rivers, your mother seems quite adamant about her disapproval. I must assure you that her opinions are not representative of mine. I thought the way you spoke to the children was simply wonderful. Thank you, Miss Rivers. It is, after all, your opinion that matters more to me. I should not keep you any longer. Thank you for visiting today. You climb onto the carriage where Mama is waiting and begin to head home. Oops, wrong one. Let's visit with the kitty cat. Upon returning home, you are surprised to find Lord Fat Cat awaiting you in your drawing room. Beside him is a cloth doll with its arm falling off. Oh dear, that poor doll seems to be in an unhappy state. Lord Fat Cat nods gravely. The doll was involved in a horrible accident, which was witnessed by the doll's best friend, a baker's little girl. Lord Fat Cat nudges the doll towards you, then tilts his head in the direction of where you keep your sewing kit. You don't need to ask twice, it'll be as good as new in no time. Lord Fat Cat purrs happily. He knew he had not misjudged your skill in needlework. You make quick but careful work of the job, and even reinforce some of the older stitches. Once you have sewn the arm back on, Lord Fat Cat gives you a nod of the uttermost approval, and bounds off with the doll. He is indeed a champion of the little people. So cute. Dear Miss Rivers, I wish to thank you once again for your delightful company and most obliging assistance last week. I spent some time this morning appreciating the fruits of our combined labor, and my mind wandered to a lovely medieval city I favored in youth. Naturally, I began thinking of some poetic lines as well. I hope this particular sonnet satisfies you more than the last. City of rain and bells and cobblestones, of bare gray trees lining a grayer sky, of dark damp castles hiding musty tomes, and lonely larks who in solitude flies. Thy days crawl through noon within these cold walls, thy nights linger on past the absent dawn. Thy heavens stay clear, prepares for the fall, reaching the cusp before winter clouds form. And this little city, nestled in hills, waits upon winter with soft bated breath, and it knows of endurance, silent and still, nurturing that which would be taken by death. The hearth has been stoked, the fire burns on, my heart full of thee where thou dost belong. Eris, etc. Demetrius J. Curtis. What is this word? Oops. There we go. Ooh, lots of points. There we go. Mozart. Woo! Walk in the woods. Miss Rivers, thank you once again for your kind invitation. This area is lovely, as you described in your letters, if not more so. Oh, cool. I was standing on perhaps this exact spot barely a fortnight ago and thought it was hardly fair that you have shared your preferred parks and picnic areas with me, but I have not done the same. And of course, I have been very much offended by your lack of consideration until I received your invitation. There is quite a quaintness to the way the very branches seem to seek the wind. I dare say I am looking forward to exploring more of the area, shall we? Mr. Curtis appears to be quite content as you walk on. I trust you have also received the latest poem that I included within a recent letter. City of rain and bells and cobblestones. What a wonderful image. Which particular place evoked such a description? Durham. In fact, it's such a beautiful little town. In all honesty, it has been an age since I have last written. You hear voices in this part of the wood suggesting that you and Mr. Curtis have company. Soon you are met with Mr. Everett, along with a woman and child, presumably his wife and son. Miss Rivers, it is a great pleasure to see you again, and you are looking very well, if I dare say. Ah, and your companion. Good day, Mr. Curtis. It has been several years. Mr. Curtis remains silent and refuses to meet Mr. Everett's eyes. Well then. Miss Rivers, I do not believe I have yet introduced you to my beautiful wife, Sophie, and my son, Charles. Oh, boy. Indeed you have not. It is a pleasure, Mrs. Everett, Charles. Well, good day to you both then, Miss Rivers, Mr. Curtis. Mr. Everett and his family leave the area, and once again you are alone with Mr. Curtis. He continues to remain silent. Mr. Curtis, are you quite all right? Without a further word, Mr. Curtis turns around and makes his way back into town. His pace is brisk and angry, and you struggle to keep up with him. Oh no! We're having a third act breakup! A man does not recover from such... devotion of the heart. Okay. Oh boy. You finally catch up with Mr. Curtis, who is trembling with anger. His voice is quiet, as if he is struggling to contain his emotions. And this is why you have invited me upon your exploration of a quaint little bit of woods. Forgive me, I know not what of you speak. Know not of what you speak. You concocted this entire expedition in order to flaunt your connection with him, and to think he had brought his son and introduced his wife. The man has neither shame nor principle. I'm not speaking in jest now. Please do calm down, Mr. Curtis. Not only was he inappropriately familiar with you, in the presence of his very wife, no less, but you encouraged him. I did no such thing. Yet you continue to deny. I deny. I can't believe this. I give you my every confidence, Miss Rivers. Clearly you wish to talk, so let us not remain circumlocutive. Okay. And instead begin a proper conversation. Mr. Curtis's eyes are hard and forgiving. I am speaking of Miss Olivia Archarea. I can see the recognition in your eyes. Do not attempt to deny it, Miss Rivers. It would be most unbecoming. I had no intention of such. When you left Hertfordshire a few weeks past, I called on you and found you absent. Mr. Hughes and I traveled to Yorkshire, whereupon we finally discovered you at her grave. So you have indeed intruded upon my privacy. Yes, Miss Olivia Archarea. She took my affections and bestowed them upon Everett, for he had the means, the estate, and the very disposition of which I so very sorely lack. And now she is gone. I have no association whatsoever with Mr. Everett, and I see no reason why his presence should affect the company I choose to keep. This discussion is pointless. Good day. Mr. Curtis leaves without another word. Soon you are alone in the woods, with the woods as your only company. That didn't go well. Did I mess that up? Okay, I need to move because the baby is on the move. Whoop. Oh. There we go. Okay. I somehow managed to lock my laptop during this. Okay. Here we go. Hi down there. Write a letter. Mr. Curtis has rebuffed your attempts to contact him. Maybe you should write him a letter. You said to write a letter to Mr. Curtis. Dear Mr. Curtis. You have been in my thoughts since we last met. I am very sorry about the unexpected turn of events that took place on our walk. Admittedly, I was a little surprised by your violent reaction to Mr. Everett's presence, but upon further reflection, I believe I can understand your sentiments. Your absence from Mr. Worthington's dinners have been noticed, and you are very sorely missed. I would very much like to see you in person and discuss the conversation that's transpired between us. Yours, etc., Amelia Rivers. Okay. Worthingtons. My dear Miss Rivers, I have wished to speak to you in private all evening. You seem quite dispirited. Sorry, I should. There we go. I can see my big old belly. I wish there was something I can say to counter that, but alas. My poor dear, I hope you will not remain so discontented. But I have some news that may liven your spirits. Do you recall how we spoke of Mr. Curtis, his school in Lambton Hall? Our dear friend has taken in more students, and the children are all making excellent progress. Just last week, Lady Winburg visited the school and was so impressed with Mr. Curtis's efforts that she has declared her support for the project. It appears they are now intending to open more such schools, and with Lady Winburg at his side, Mr. Curtis shan't have anything to fear from the negative opinion of the public. I am glad to hear Mr. Curtis has been doing well. Goodness me, my dear, have you and Mr. Curtis had a disagreement of sorts? I have not spoken with him lately, but I had assumed he was still keeping company with you. No, we are not. Mr. Curtis and I are... I dare say I don't know what to make of it myself. That doesn't sound promising, my dear. Perhaps you should seek out Mr. Curtis. We both know he is not the most agreeable of men, but I believe he will not cast you out without cause. I am certain this is simply a misunderstanding between you. But I shan't intrude on your affairs any further. You must do what you believe is right for you, my dear. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to go visit him now. You are rather overdressed for a usual day about the house. Imagine my surprise when Bessie informed me that the carriage standing outside has been prepared for Miss Rivers, as she is needing it for a journey. Of course, she failed to mention the suitcases you've packed, but I suppose Bessie thinks of it as an act of loyalty. An explanation, please, Miss Amelia. If you must know, I intend to call on Mr. Curtis. He has not responded to my attempt to contact him, and I am concerned about him. Just as I had thought. You are foolish, but at least you remain honest. Amelia, listen to me very carefully. Stop this foolish behavior. It is improper for you to call on him in Yorkshire. Imagine what everyone will say. Mr. Curtis might be agreeable on occasions, but he does not hold a good opinion amongst society, and your reputation will be severely affected. I understand what you're saying, Mamma, but you must remember the kindness he has shown to you on several occasions. Mr. Curtis is a dear friend, and I know he should not be alone at present. I must go to him. A dear friend. Oh, Amelia, you are not being truthful to yourself. Amelia Rivers, come back here this instant. Do you not think you can leave as you please? Do you not think you can leave as you please? I am so terribly sorry, Mother, but I must. I hope that you will one day understand. Farewell. Here we go. Penridge. Ooh, that was a quick journey. After 3 long days of traveling, just kidding, Mr. Curtis is finally within your reach. Good day, I see you are here for Mr. Curtis. I am afraid he's not available. Mr. Hughes, do not lie to me. You know that Mr. Curtis and I have frequently kept correspondence and are well acquainted. Indeed, you were at Bradley House when you last gave me your assistance. That is true. I do recall Mr. Curtis instructing all his staff that he is unavailable to visitors and must not be disturbed from where he sits in the garden, though I don't believe he left specific instruction to turn such guests away. You, Mr. Hughes, are the best in your profession. Thank you, Miss Rivers. Here we go. You are too, I don't remember, generous, is it? Hold on. Yep. Okay, here we go. You find Mr. Curtis sitting alone in his garden. His shoulders are slouched and his usually spotless attire is wrinkled and covered with dirt. You appear to have taken all the troubles of the world within yourself. You do not need to do that anymore, Mr. Curtis. After a long moment, Mr. Curtis speaks again. It is so strange to see this garden with its changes, however minute. Olivia always loved the flowers, and I suppose I maintained this garden for all these years in memory of her. Her favorites were white orchids. I think it was a very touching gesture, and I do not doubt that she was an important person in your life, but she is not the only person of importance. You speak of importance as if it is simply a preference, not an all-consuming regard for another. Pray tell, what do you know of importance, Miss Rivers? Please do not belittle my feelings, I know, because I hold that same regard for you. I had not meant to belittle them. Please forgive me if I have caused offense. But things ought not to change. I abhor that word. You cannot mean that. In the short time I have known you, I believe you have changed for the better. Consider the school you have built, the beginnings of change in the education within our society. I suppose you are correct, at least on that last account. You speak those 3 words as if they are so simple. Let her go, and it is done. She will always be a part of who you are, but she does not have to be the only one who occupies your heart. Those are bold words, Miss Rivers. Is this a confession, then? I suppose I should have known. Miss Rivers, I am not an openly agreeable person, and I'm rarely content with the world. There are only a few whose company I keep, and even then, I do not favor social events. And I do not favor them either. I believe that is the first of many things we have in common. And Olivia, I do not think there will be a day when the memory of her will not enter my thoughts. I understand. I admit I am a little envious of her to have such a high place in your mind and heart. Please, Miss Rivers, I require my solitude once more. Thank you for your concern. I imagine your visit must not have been easy for you. You are welcome to retire here for the evening if you wish, so long as you leave me be and begin your journey back to Darlington in the morning. Crap! Oh no! Mr. Curtis utters no further word and turns his attention back to his garden, lost in the thoughts and memories of the past. The house is strangely quiet upon your return. Bessie greets you with downcast eyes. Miss Amelia, it is good to have you back. What is the matter, dear Bessie? Why do you look so forlorn? Oh, miss, it has been awful since you left. Mrs. Rivers has been so upset and worried sick about you. She has not left the house and refused all visitors, even Mrs. Worthington. I must go see Mamma immediately. You find Mamma in the drawing room, where she appears to be extremely dispirited. Mother, you must understand that I had to leave. Mr. Curtis was extremely distressed, and he means a great deal to me. Does he mean more to you than your own mother? The entire town is talking about you. Do you not understand the extent to which you have disgraced yourself? Our family name is now to be tied with scandal and impropriety. It cannot be undone. Yorkshire, indeed, and with a man who cares so little for the traditions and fabrics of society? How do you expect to have a happy future now? You are spoilt, and no man will want you. Do not look at me as if to say Mr. Curtis might ask to marry you. He is such a moody and flighty creature that you cannot depend on his affections. You have thrown away all your prospects, Amelia. Leave me be. I cannot speak with you any further. Oh, man. I done messed up. Miss Amelia, how is Mr. Curtis? Is he very ill? You are such a kind soul to ask, dear Bessie. Not many people seem to care about poor Mr. Curtis. But you do, miss. I happened to overhear what Mrs. Rivers was saying, and I hope you don't mind me asking, but do you think Mr. Curtis will abandon you after all you've done for him? Truthfully, I do not know. It is not that I doubt his character, but rather I do not know if he holds me in the same regard as he would the woman he loves. I don't quite get your meaning, miss, but I'm sure he's got a great deal of affection for you. And what of Mrs. Rivers? Would you still want to marry Mr. Curtis if it'll cause her so much pain? I do not wish to cause my mother any pain, but I must follow my own heart in the matter. Oh, you are sounding more and more like your brother, miss. Maybe that's why poor Mrs. Rivers is finding this so painful. I do hope all becomes well, miss. You deserve to be happy, as does Mr. Curtis. That's sweet. Okay. Points. And now, let's... Okay, there we go. Alright. So, that is all for this episode. We will find out what happens next week. Thank you all for joining, and I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Goodbye!